As soon as you said elevator, I immediately thought of Ray Rice.
Welcome back. This time...
Fuck you!
Fuck you too, buddy. This time we're all here. What's new with you?
His face.
What's new with me? I don't know.
Got touched.
I passed out
Got
drunk on a
touched.
couch last night. That's new with me.
Your cut looks good.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about what
The
you told us
inspiration.
yesterday.
Oh.
I don't remember what I told you yesterday.
Just of the situation at work where you were diddled on your face because people thought you were sick.
Oh, yeah. So I guess this is new to me because I've never really worked thoroughly in a food industry, but I showed up to work and I was like, the lady who works with me, she was looking down and like pulling some bread out, and she flipped it over, and then without looking at me, she was like, how you feeling? And she asked me that every day, and I was just like, well, I mean, I got the usual headache I do every morning, and I'm feeling fine. How about you? And she was like, she looked up, she was like, all like, whoa. And then she walked over to me and put the back of, without asking, put the back of her hand on my forehead, and she was just like, you feel kind of warm. You feeling okay? And I was just like, yeah. Like, I mean, we're in a bakery, so I imagine I would be warmer. But then she was like calling people over to come like examine me as well, and they were like pinching parts of my arms and like trying to like determine whether or not I had a fever with their hands. And it was just like, I hate this so much, but I can't say anything because then they'll discover that I'm a psychopath. So they determined that either I was sick or I was lying about not being sick. So they told me to go home in the nicest way possible. And I mean, I didn't mind because it's a 9-to-5 job, so I was just like, cool, I get to have a free Friday. But also, fuck those people.
I think, upon thinking about this more, I think maybe they were just concerned about you being sick because you are working directly with food. So I think it matters
is
a
a
lot
big
Could have been
more.
that. Also, the lady who I usually work with got sick the day previous, so I imagine that has something to do with it.
Okay, so they probably think there's like something going around. Are these
Possibly.
are these ladies like nice, like grandmotherly, or they're
Yeah,
or they're
they're
like
like my mom. They're like my mom's age.
okay, cool. I thought because it could either be like annoying, like soccer mom level of
There,
like
I mean, there's one lady who's like that. The rest of them are usually very nice.
okay, that's good then. Well, hope you made it through okay. Yaman, you want to share your little eBay mishap story?
What did you do?
No.
He's
He's
trying to sell his organs on eBay.
Yeah, no one will buy it. No. I bought an Elite controller used because I didn't want to pay $150.
Aren't those like notoriously bad if they're used?
I like how
don't-
Patrick
They're
knows
so
more
finicky.
about this.
I mean, I don't.
I don't know
Like,
more
it was
about
fine
this at all. I just remember
when it- all right,
seeing
Know that
So-
this was like a
Yeah.
bad
This
idea.
was years ago as well.
Okay, let me tell you something. All right, all of my controllers are like broken in some kind of way. A button doesn't work or something is wrong with
Same.
them. So I want a new controller, and I could just buy a regular controller, brand new, no problems. But I really want an Elite controller, so I thought instead of paying $150 for a new one, I'd just buy a used one off eBay. I got one for $60. It never shipped, and so I got my money back. Problem solved. I was like, all right, well, let's try again. I bought a different one, like the same item from a different guy. It shipped. It shipped quick. It showed up. It looked great. When I tested it, the analog stick, like the right analog stick, would keep getting input even after I'd let go. So I'd flick it up, and then it would go
I
up.
hate that.
No, but it's like
It's ridiculous.
it's
yeah.
not usable.
Yeah.
Like I've had problems like that.
I have that
but
with the
left
stick.
That's one of my controllers is like that, and it's bearable because it's the left stick.
It sends things just cascading to the left every time
Yeah.
I put it down.
So that I returned it, and so I don't know what I'm gonna do now.
Just buy a new
Yeah.
one.
The
Buy a
benefit,
brand new regular controller or an Elite controller because the Elite controller is too expensive.
the benefit I've found from mine is there's a strike you have to do in Destiny where it's a strike is just a mission, but you get on these platforms and you have to have every person in the fire team on the platform for you to be able to continue. And I guess it did the you're joining your allies thing because it didn't recognize that I was AFK. Like, it didn't have the allotted amount of time yet. So I got transferred to my allies, and I had to stand on the platform that was to the left of me, and my controller was like, fucking got this. This is one thing that I'm really good at. And it just sent me to the left, and I stood on the platform against the wall just like,
Perfect.
And then they won the strike.
Amazing. I'm glad it worked out for you. I had that same issue with my old Xbox 360 controllers all the time. Those always broke on me. They were like real pieces of shit. But
I mean, those controllers were pretty great for the time.
I mean, they were
when they came out. I was like, "Holy shit, that's exactly what I've always wanted."
Yeah, it's like a
no
basic
more Duke for me
thing. My the controller I've actually had like more of an issue with is actually the PlayStation 4 controller, because both of the triggers on the PS4 controller that came with my console, and then another one I bought later on, the triggers broke on both of them. Like, there's this little spring mechanism when you push in the trigger to like push it back, obviously, but the spring would get stuck. So the trigger would get stuck in, and you would have to like push and like pull it out to like unlodge it. And so it was.
Imagine getting in like Halo and it gets stuck and you're just like.
So it was fucking annoying as hell, and I had to do this like breakdown and like just pull out the spring. But then like the triggers afterwards were like weightless like buttons, and it felt terrible. Yeah. So it's whatever. The Xbox controllers are the best though.
You remember I had a for the original Xbox. We had only Dukes, and then one of them was sort of like this green clear plastic, and we could see all the inner workings and the.
I love that one. I know what you're talking about.
The vibro thing on each of the individual like handle holds, and then we had the one that I was allowed to use, called the Mad Catz controller, and it was missing these little mushroom things at the top of the analog sticks. So I would stab my thumbs every time I played Xbox. So all my memories of Halo are like highlighted with just pain in my thumbs.
Yep. Same thing happened.
I was playing fucking Legendary on another level of difficulty, alright? Fucking beat that game in pain and bleeding.
Same exact shit happened to the GameCube controllers I had and my friends had, because we were just a bunch of dumb kids and couldn't afford like the full-on Nintendo controllers. And so if you got fucked with a Mad Catz controller, it sucked, because the tip of the analog stick, I feel like it didn't even come with rubber or like anything to make it remotely comfortable.
It didn't
it just came with like a straight like soccer cleat spike like tipped analog stick, and it's like, here you go, you fool. Bleed for your poorness.
You seen the new controller that's kind of like the transparent one that you were talking about, but like for that Xbox One?
What the fuck is this?
Yeah, like it's transparent at the top, and then it like fades to white at the bottom. It's pretty cool.
How did they achieve that?
I don't know.
That's
like,
really fucking cool.
It's like white from like the bottom to like the right analog stick, or like the A, and then from there up it becomes transparent. Like it fades really to transparent. Cool. Which is
if there was a way to get a controller, I think I've said this 100 times, but get a controller that just had a hard-lined, non-take-offable cord that goes right to the Xbox and is permanently just, that's the source of power for it.
Yeah.
I would buy that fast.
It's funny because there was a time when that sucked, and it was like, man, I'd do anything to get a wireless. Convenient. I know, man, I'd do anything for a wireless controller, and I could never see myself using a wired controller again. It's so inconvenient and stuff. And now I'm just like,
I don't even move that much.
You're buying 48 packs of batteries on Amazon just to get
48 packs of batteries and 7 controllers.
Those have to be like in a whale's rectum right now. All the batteries are thrown away.
Oh yeah,
I don't care. That's tough. That's when eBay stops selling them for 3 cents a battery, I'll stop buying them. Or when Amazon. Whatever.
That's like everybody. Like I definitely want to buy a Tesla, but also I can't afford one at the moment. So there was a fucking asshole on the highway yesterday, and it took me like an hour to get from. And this is going to be not at all applicable to anybody else, but do you know when you're going to Springfield Mall?
Yes.
And you pass by this sort of preschool little church thing.
On your left, by a lot.
I know, but there's like 4 or 5 on that one road, but like the last one you pass by.
Okay, yes.
It took me an hour to get from there here to my home.
Why?
I have no idea. There must have been like some like mind wiping device that taught everybody to just go like, oh, I don't remember how to drive, and I should probably drive real slow because I'm scared.
I see that all the time when there's a sprinkle of rain.
Oh yeah,
people lose their shit completely.
People cannot fucking drive.
People just turn into like Mad Max to like pull out their guns and like light
I
their
wish
cars on
no,
fire.
it's like the opposite. They go like 10 miles an hour. They're like, oh my god, there's rain, so you have to go a quarter the speed.
Better be careful.
That's so fucking weird.
What is this thing that you sent me in the sent us in the group chat with Beto O'Rourke? You come now.
Oh yeah,
that's one of
that
those.
Made me laugh really well.
the whole Tumblr.
I think people like recognize the GIF. It's like the dude. You're like looking at this dude's like midsection
torso,
and he's like wearing like office clothing. It like looks pretty boring. But there's like a weird GIF that floated around Tumblr for a long time where he did the like I guess dominant thing, like you come here now and like be like my submissive little whatever.
That was just weird to hear you say.
So someone put like Beto's like logo over that, and I was like, wow, Beto's ads are getting really weird because it's like exactly how he dresses every single day. He literally owns one blue
you
shirt.
could sell me that's him. You really could.
Like, if I didn't know the context of this meme, I would be like, oh, I guess that is Beto. It's like, it looks weird though, so I don't understand. I remember a lot of people used to like think this was like Jim Halpert from The Office or something. I think that's like the original context of the meme, but it's still like fucking weird and like hilarious.
Dude, John Krasinski makes me think of the dude who is now playing Zachary Levi, who plays Shazam.
Love him.
And that is the mental like springboard that makes me realize that people who are super skinny can go to super jacked if someone just hits them in the face every morning of their entire life.
Dude, if you're rich and have Hollywood resources, you can look like anything you want to.
If you are paid to be jacked, you will be jacked.
I know we've talked about this before, but Dennis from It's Always Sunny posted on his Instagram like a photo of like how shredded he was.
What?
Yeah.
You're talking about Dennis or Mac?
Mac, sorry. I get them mixed up.
I was always sure
that
Mac was going to get jacked. And then he had this very honest thing in the description, didn't he?
Yeah, he was like, don't worry, guys. It's super easy to get healthy. All you need is a personal trainer or a personal cook to watch all your meals and then have a studio foot the bill for everything.
Anyone can be me.
Well, like, that is true because, like, even if like you eat healthy and like get a gym membership and stuff, like that'll only like get you so far. Like you'll be great and whatever, but like no one is gonna scientifically formulate a diet for you that is exactly what you need to reach like some sort of like peak physique. And also a lot of the times those are incredibly unrealistic because all you're allowed to eat is like chicken breast and broccoli unseasoned for like weeks at a time.
Dude, I ate chicken breast for I think 2 years, and now I have such a need for it to be really like painfully spicy just to get the taste of chicken breast out of my head because it is such a dull fucking thing. I have no idea. People make jokes about this all the time, how like people will just eat unseasoned chicken. I don't know how they do it. I have no idea how they do that often because it makes me want to gag just thinking about it now.
It's fucking nasty.
There it is.
Just thinking of the way like some people eat or how some people used to cook certain foods. Like I know in the UK when I was over there, it's really popular to boil Brussels sprouts. And if you know anything about vegetables, that is the fucking most disgusting way to cook something possible.
Don't they just get like super like mushy if you do that?
Exactly. It's fucking gross as shit. And what you really should be doing is like just roasting your vegetables to make them like crispy and like actually appetizing. So I think the reason most people hate vegetables growing up is that they had like boomer parents that fucking boiled everything to death or like put it in the microwave. And
boomer has become like a slur now. People get really mad if you say that to them. Yeah.
Dude,
get out of here, you boomer.
I don't think I've ever heard anyone like use it at someone like in public. Yeah, like that's weird. It's only
not in public, but like on Twitter, it's very common.
On Twitter, sure. I've been really curious to like bring this up at work because I work with like a bunch of like boomers and like older millennials, and like sometimes like, and there's this one dude in particular who's such a fucking like stereotypical like boomer. His Twitter bio literally reads, I'm like, it's like journalist / humanist, which is like the most like basic like old.
Is it your bio or is it his?
It's his. Fuck you. And he just says like all this like weird.
They really got to you.
Weird shit all the time.
That was good. I like
Any
that.
joke,
That was
dude?
good.
Recently, you
puts
two
me down.
have been going fucking for
like
each
that.
other's necks in Destiny. You were being
He's
lethal.
an idiot. He's stupid.
He is pretty dumb.
He's an idiot.
Give an example of something that Pena has done in Destiny.
I don't like
God,
that.
I don't fucking dumb.
Dude,
He'll just figure out a game mechanic that's like the most basic thing that he's
you
like,
hit X, you can
whoa,
reload.
you shoot your gun in this game? What? Huh? Is this DLC?
And he'll say it with
God.
that level of surprise.
No, but that was like a joke. But like he'll say it almost seriously,
It's like,
and
what,
you're
what,
like,
hey, guys, you can throw things in this game. It's like, what? Shut the fuck up. We're like struggling to beat this mission. And you're just having a fucking educational like, what's it called? Reading rainbow moment.
yeah.
That's
The
not.
more
That's
you know.
that's not what's happened recently, though. I don't remember what's happened recently. Like it just comes down to like a miscommunication thing where like I won't hear you say something or you won't hear me say something, and then we like yell at each other for like not getting
You
each
guys
other's
got
instructions.
really mad.
What was it
Dude,
last? What was
particularly
it recently? Yeah, what was
we
it?
was
were
the Black
doing
Armory thing.
the Forge. We were doing the Forge, where you have to do this mission where you kill guys and then you throw their orbs into the hand.
Oh my god! All right, should we bring it up? We're gonna talk about
you
this.
got the mad level of someone who has been trying to do something for an hour and a half. Like, we had been there for 5 minutes, and you got so fucking mad. You were so angry.
I used my super, and then Alex goes, "Shouldn't have done that, idiot. The boss is coming up on this mission that he had played, but I hadn't." It
was so
and that was like the art. That was like it. That was the
Immediately.
match that lit it all. And I was like,
As soon
how
as
was I supposed to know that?
As soon as I heard
How
that, I was
was
like,
I
this will be
supposed to
great.
know
This will be
that?
the best. Cannot wait to see
Oh
where
my
this goes.
god! No, and then he died, and I was like, "Wow, why'd you die?
Immediately
Huh?
died.
You didn't know you'd done this mission before? How
Yeah,
did
you
you not know
can't even
that?"
speak to me dying because you die like 5 times the amount I die.
Because I'm actually
What are you-
doing them, getting kills. You're
He's
like,
out
you do
there.
nothing.
I'm not on anybody's side, but I'm
God.
gonna switch back and forth. He's out there. He's in there.
Yeah,
He's somewhere.
Yeah, but Yaman really shouldn't have used the super because the boss was coming up.
You're right.
He
My bad.
totally
Next
wasted
time
it.
I'll build a
I
time
was
machine
literally-
to know when
Goddamn
the
idiot.
fucking
I wanted to yell, but I felt like there was already enough yelling, and I was just like, Pena, there's no way he could have known that there was a boss, and you didn't say anything previously, so...
And then I just became petty for the
You
next like
became
15 minutes.
so
That's
fucking
it.
petty. Something is petty, and then there's Yaman, and it's like 4 times larger on the scale of pettiness. It's just so.
It was so funny because it was so like out of proportion.
White
Like
hot
it like
rage.
didn't matter. It was so like it was. So
I wanted
didn't
it so
matter.
desperately to just end and just like, can we just shut the fuck up, please, please?
And then
It
every
doesn't
time
matter.
if he'd throw the battery or whatever,
And it missed.
I would never.
Wow!
at the end of
Way
it.
to go!
Nice throw, champ.
We should
I
record.
remember
We should start
specifically-
recording these sessions so people
Maybe
know
we
what's
could
going
do
on.
You're
that.
an idiot.
I've talked about it before.
Are you
but,
sure you want them to see it?
There's a lot of stuff we cannot record, but
Yeah.
there's one specific instance I remember that both of you were off in the caves, sort of that area,
Oh, yeah.
and you killed one of the big guys because I know you said like, "Oh, it's a big guy," and then you struggled and you killed him, and he drops 2 orbs, and both of you picked it up. And then as soon as he went to go throw it, you were like, "Don't choke!" And I was just like, that was so fucking funny to me.
Yeah, it's.
Fuck off. I wasn't like actually mad. I just like yelling at Yaman.
Yeah, I know. I like yelling a lot.
Okay, there we go.
It's.
I feel like people will start to be like, the group is falling apart. They don't like each other as much as
it's
they
like when I
used
yell
to.
at you when you disconnect from the game.
That happens all the fucking time. It's so
It
annoying.
happens to you all the fucking time, and my immediate response is like, "What the fuck did you do? Why did you leave?" Oh yeah, no. It's always, "Why did you leave?" You're like, I disconnected.
I don't even know that
It's
it's
half a
happened
joke,
yet.
but like, why are you? What is going?
Like it takes like an extra minute to like show up on my screen that I've been disconnected.
Yeah, that's why.
And I'm like, what are you
extra
talking
funny.
about?
So for you're being yelled at for something you don't even know it's happening.
What's happening? Blame my fucking university like internet. It's fucking garbage. Even though people pay like $70,000 a year to fucking come here.
I'd rather blame you. It's more fun.
It's fine. Although when I restarted my Xbox, it started working. Patrick had issues last time as well, though, so it's not like totally my fault. I feel like
It could have been, or I might have been lying. I don't remember.
you might have been lying.
I don't remember, honestly. Sometimes I just pretend that my connection is bad so that I can go back to watching YouTube.
I never have it full. I can never do that.
I don't know. I want to see. I've got in my secondary. You got 9 squares, and I have. He's
playing Destiny. We're talking about Destiny.
Yeah, I can see it on the reflection of the microphone.
Audience, just so you know, and I can never have the items.
See it on the reflection.
What happens if you get a new item now and you?
It just goes right to the mail guy.
Oh.
Yeah.
So the mail guy's like a backup.
No, they break it in half and they throw it away.
I really thought it would just say, kind of like with Glimmer, it would say like inventory full or something.
They do say that, but let me see here. I don't like this. Subtle Calamity is pretty bad for a bow. I wanted a nice bow. Playing with a bow in this game is probably the most fun you'll have.
Yeah.
I feel like Hawkeye, but actually useful.
Bows get seriously underpowered very quickly, though. Like bows and hand cannons. Anything that relies on like quick one-shot kills,
exactly,
like immediately
like
stops being
anything
useful.
that becomes less than a one-shot kill.
It's
not.
It's great for the hunter when you're playing gunslinger because you've got the chains of woe.
Mm-hmm.
And it just faster and faster. And not that it helps your bow, but then you kill a guy with a bow and you immediately switch to like a sidearm or something and let off like 1,000 rounds. Exactly. And then you reload in like 2 seconds.
I recently got that gun. It looks good. The stats weren't better than the one I had. It looks really cool.
Baligant XU7743 rolls off the tongue.
It really does. It's catchy.
It kind of looks like the Halo 1 shotgun. That's why I like
does.
it. And it's got a bullet there.
Why does it have a bullet there?
One. I have no idea.
In case you need another one?
It's
a
show bullet.
Shotgun shoots bullets
also,
like that? Is that?
I mean, most shotguns don't shoot bullets like that. It's usually a cylinder.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So like, why'd they have that if it's not a bullet for the gun?
This is a bullet you might want to use if you have another gun, but it won't work for this one. We've decided to attach it. Do whatever you want with it. What the fuck is this as well? It's like a hole.
Have you guys ever actually like shot a gun like in real life? I feel like
I have.
You have really?
Guns. Yeah.
Wait, tell that story.
Actually, it is kind of like a story. She's got like a bunch of land. She's got like acres of like forest or some shit.
Yeah.
And so like, it's an ornament. It doesn't matter.
It's also for warlocks. So
it's also for warlocks, which you are not. Anyways.
Is this in America or is this in Lebanon?
This is in Massachusetts.
Oh, okay. Dope.
Massachusetts, Lebanon. No.
Okay.
But so yeah, we went out to like the forest. She has like a little spot with like cans on like this little hill, and she has like this guy that like takes care of the land, like helps her a lot. And I guess
he helps her a lot, alright.
I don't know if they're his guns or.
So is he a landscaper?
Yes.
I think he was insinuating that he fucks your grandma.
I think that is insinuating. Yes. Yeah, he does everything. Anyways, like. It was cold, and I didn't have gloves, right? And it's a metal gun, and we brought 2 out. It was like my grandma, him, my mom, my dad, and I.
Yeah.
And so I was holding one, and we weren't shooting. We were using the other one, and it was really cold in my hands. So I put it on the ground, and the moment I went to set it down, he like looks at me, and he goes, "Don't put my guns on the ground, son." I was like, "Okay,
you're not even his son, and he called you son."
Yeah.
God damn.
Other than that, it was fun shooting.
You get a powerful armor if you forge 2 weapons.
Cool. Oh, we got to do that. I haven't been on Destiny in a few days.
I got the Ace of
Spades. I don't know
Spades.
what this is, but we'll find out.
Oh, you just got to collect 20 bounties.
Could be. We'll never know.
Wait, have you done
part of the laptop frame is blocking the screen. Oh, now I can see it.
It was, but it's always your challenge. Anyways.
Why was it?
Wait, are you doing you haven't finished the auto rifle frame, right?
The one that we grabbed last
time. It's the next forge we have to do.
He did. It looks
like. He did finish it.
Oh, I got a ballistics log so I can buy another one.
Fuck you.
You guys bought the auto rifle, didn't you?
We have it. I haven't finished it either. So I guess I'll have to fucking do that later today.
I got the Ace of Spades. I did the mission.
It's
I don't want to spoil it for him, but it is really cool. The last line, I was literally going to send it to you. The last line of the mission, I was literally when Cade says that in his audio log.
It was pretty cool. Yeah,
that was really cool.
Also, all of
them were kind of cool.
This is a little tiny bit of a spoiler. It's more of a broad, just generalization.
For anyone who cares really deeply about Destiny 2's story, please
it's more fun to enjoy it.
It's more for you,
yeah. Because nobody in our community fucking plays Destiny.
They've hit.
There's one guy named Asuka Sucks, and he fucking invites me to his party every time that I get on Xbox, and I don't want to like kick him because he like is probably going to be sad. But anyway. When you do this mission, you get to hear a bunch of audio logs from Cade, and like if this is Ikora and you've killed me, like, it's totally okay.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that was it. Oh, man.
If this
that
is
one
Zavala,
got to me, dude.
fuck you.
Yeah, it goes... So there's 10 of them.
It's
and
like
it goes
every
through all
person
the
who could have
people.
killed me. And one of them
Exactly.
was the Awoken Queen. The brother, the
I
sister
didn't listen to, like,
of
the first, like, 5.
the brother dude.
I'll be honest.
So he
Brother
was
dude
like
always
close.
sort of remind me of Loki.
I do get those vibes. Yeah, I know what you mean.
But yeah, the Ikora one was really cool.
Yeah.
He was like, if you did it, it was probably the right thing to do or something. So
It just means he knew he was like such a
you did, I
gigantic
deserve
asshole.
well, I mean, if he did something to
warrant
her killing him, it was probably the right thing to do. He probably deserved it.
And also,
he like thanks her almost. No, he does. He just so thanks.
Thanks for putting me down.
this is another thing about Destiny, but there's a race of beings called Exos, and Exos are just sort of like Robo men and women, or
Is that
whatever.
like the gunsmith?
Yeah, the gunsmith, Banshee 44. The number next to their name is the number of times that their memory has been reset. So, Cade 6 has been 5 other people.
Oh, that's what he meant when he said
Yeah.
0 to 5.
Also, remember when he was talking about how there was an experiment on Io or something like that where he was turned into an Exo, and he was talking to his daughter, Ace?
No.
Oh, that was one of the audio logs.
No.
If it was one
It's
of the
not in
first 5,
it's not in order, so
if it was, well, I don't know. The first 5 I picked up, I just didn't listen to because I saw collect 10, like find the 10 audio logs, and I just pulled up a YouTube video because I don't find that to be fun
it was
gameplay.
a little bit of a pain.
But so like I was more focused on where the next audio log was than what the dialogue was going on. But
Yeah.
like for the last 2 or 3,
it was like
really good.
basically he was in a lot of debt, and the debtors were
is that
not.
why the gun's called Ace of Spades?
Yeah, he was a gambler. I have no idea.
No, not the
Oh, he
debt.
had a gambling
daughter.
addiction.
His daughter's,
His daughter's
name
name
Ace.
is Ace.
That's got to be why. That's
Pretty
got to
cool
be a
name.
thing.
Also, one of the Royal Flush gang in the DC universe is named Ace, and she's got mind powers. Anyway,
Okay.
he like is in debt, and the people are like, "We don't want your money, but if you come over here and do this experiment with us, then maybe we'll let you write it off." And then he was just like, "Fuck," and then he was like saying goodbye to his wife and kid, and then he went to the it was like the name of the database was like the Slumbering Crypt or something like that. It was like
The crypt. He mentions.
he does
He
something
does mention
about the
that.
crypt.
He says you don't want me telling people about the crypt. He
I don't
does.
remember.
He's like talks to the guy. I'm assuming it's the guy that did this experiment to him. He was like, don't think you've heard the last of me. Don't think I won't
I love
talk
that.
about the crypt or some other stuff.
I love that because he's not the same person. It's sort of like RoboCop, where he he avenges his own murder, even though he's not the same person.
And I guess that is the
He's like referring to as like, you haven't heard the last of me, as in the first me. It's like there is still like a revenant, vengeful ghost in me of the person that I was, and now that I know you did this to me, I'm gonna come get you.
So-
and I love that.
is the idea that his ghost, like if he died, when he was Cade 2 and he died, the ghost brought him back as Cade 3?
That's what I assume.
Oh, okay.
Or is it like actual dead?
Either I feel like he didn't start out as a guardian. He was not like chosen, and that was his first foray into the Destiny universe. He was like a gambler and a mercenary for a little bit, and then he got into something that was experimental and dangerous. Got turned into an Exo, somehow died, and then a ghost came along and revived him and made him a guardian because it sensed something in him. I always thought of it's a little interesting to me that even though they're robots, that they're still like beings. There's like a personality in there that's like worthy of accepting this power, and it makes zero sense. So he can like eat ramen and stuff because he's a robot, but whatever.
I was just thinking if it works, like you die in the ghost revives you. If a player were Cade, he'd be like Cade 712.
Yeah, he'd be Cade 9 billion.
That's what I mean.
But it's not about how many times you've died. It's about how many times you willingly reset your memory.
Okay.
Because apparently, for Banshee at least, he sometimes does it because he's lived for so long that he gets bored of being the person that he is. So he just turns the switch and then goes to a completely blank brain and then has to relearn a trade. It's like, whoa.
That's crazy. I feel like I wouldn't want to throw away all that progress. It's basically like prestiging, like Modern Warfare 2.
It's also confusing to me because do you have to relearn basic like motor functions and stuff?
Yeah.
Or do you become a baby?
No. That you start with a base of
like
knowledge.
math and like driving skills.
Yeah, it's like when you start making a program, you import some libraries that they do all the basic functions.
See, I would be tempted to include like stuff that like being able to draw. Like surely it was fun to. The
that's harder,
scheme
that's
of
harder,
learning.
That's harder to code.
It is harder
that's
to code.
Harder to code. So
for your project that you're going to fail?
We're not going to do that for Banshee for 45. Sorry.
45.
Pour one out. So is there no way possible for Cade 7 to come back or whatever?
I've always thought that, like, since I saw him die, I was like, surely there's a memory card in there. Like,
yeah, exactly. Like, just pull out the SD card.
I guess.
I thought it was strange that he got shot in the chest. And it's like, yes, he did get shot in the chest, but is that a vital organ for him? Like, where is
that's
the
where
piece?
the CPU is.
Surely shot in the head. Or I've always thought that if you were building a robot that was supposed to fight, then you would make all the obvious, like, sort of like when we were talking about Arkham Knight, how the Batman signal is a false target, like shooting that is like his strongest piece of armor. Surely, if you were building a robot that's meant for war, if you want the head pretty much just to be eyes and nothing else.
Well, that's what I was thinking. I mean, you said getting shot in the head would be like obviously where he would die. But what if the head is just for
that's
visuals
exactly what I'm
audio?
saying. Like, that's like just an empty thing, and then you assume it's dead, and then you walk away, and it gets up and shoots you because it's got eyes on its nipples or something.
Backup nipple eyes activated.
It's like Krang. It's like Krang from TMNT.
Jesus. See, I think like the idea that Exos can even like die like that is a little bizarre to me because at the end of the day, they're just like robots that I feel like you could just reboot or like move to another body.
Save all their memories in a cloud like situation.
That too. They should have like
a backup storage.
My
Backup saves.
iPhone has a backup. Like, why doesn't Clyde have a backup?
It could be that they invented the Exos to give someone who no longer has a working body, like let's say they died to cancer or something, and then they stored their brain on a server. Let's say they then were like, all right, let's not create a war bot that is invulnerable to everything. Let's create something that is as close as we can get to a person. So they gave it the same weaknesses. They gave it a stomach, sort of a pseudo stomach, like a tank that is in their body, like all of these things that are vulnerable if you shoot them, and it all works interconnectively like a person would. I have never talked about Destiny this in depth, but I assume I'm going to hell for it.
It's kind of cool. Why? It's kind of cool to think about.
It is cool.
I feel like doing that would give it more
feeling, like it would feel more normal.
It'd feel more normal, yes. Like if it was just like a robot, the way we think of a robot
doesn't
to
need
be,
to eat, doesn't eat,
doesn't do any of that. People would say, "Why would I trust this?
Exactly.
Why would I treat this the way I treat everyone else?"
And it's
that
also
kind of thing.
Maybe the person who is on the server can't talk to the doctors or the engineers, so they don't know what's coming. They don't know that they're about to be transferred into a robot. So maybe it would be more comforting for them to have. It's startling to be transferred from the server to the new body, but it's less startling because I can still breathe. And I can still eat, and I can still sleep.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking about it from the perspective of a practitioner, like someone who was actually involved in that. I think it was something like the sleeping crypt or the awoken crypt or something like that.
You know what I think is actually something that would be really cool that I'm surprised they actually haven't done yet, but you know Warmind, the giant like evil computer that lives on Mars or whatever?
Rasputin.
Yeah, or Rasputin. The Warmind is what kind of computer he is. I don't really know.
He's a Warmind, yeah.
Yeah. I'm surprised they haven't gone the whole like Age of Ultron route and put him in like some sort of body that's just like incredibly powerful. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's the obvious step.
Access to him because he's like over the years. I think there was a Grimoire card in the first game that I read that was super interesting. It was like I touched down on the surface of Mars and I was beginning to assault the Cabal base, and the Cabal are these big meaty elephant men. And
they really are.
It was like some hunter, and she was like talking to her ghost. Was like, I don't think we're gonna get out of this. And then suddenly 1,000 spinnerets fell from the sky, and it was just Rasputin. He was shredding satellites to kill the Cabal because they were like like useless at that point. They would have been out of commission, but he could still detonate them and then send the fallout through orbit into the Cabal base. And she said it was sort of like an aged hunter hefting his spear for the first time in 20 years. It was just like, cool. It's really cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Really cool. Yeah. It was like someone who hasn't tested their strength in a long time, just doing it again, and then realizing that they still have it. And it's just like reading that shit. I was just like, why don't you put this in the game? Why do I have to read this on an app?
Like, there's so much cool potential for the lore that they're like really leaving by the wayside
completely
for other stories that aren't like nearly as interesting. Like, even if I get that you also have to like design a game around it and like kill like hordes of like mindless enemies over and over again, but I still think like there are better stories to tell even with that as like your, you know, backdrop. You know, I think just the whole concept of this super incredibly intelligent robot or artificial intelligence, kind of like the Supreme Intelligence in Captain Marvel.
Yeah, I didn't see that, but I assume you're right.
Yeah, well, like it's also like
so
in the comics a lot and stuff,
surely.
but it's just like the Supreme Intelligence in Captain Marvel, for anyone that doesn't know or hasn't seen the movie yet or whatever, is basically you go and see it and it appears to you as the person who you like most admired or
Is
like
it like
respected.
Contact?
Sort of. Yeah, at the end,
Do
like
you remember what movie I'm talking about? Where the aliens send a signal and it's a machine.
yeah, I know what I know what you mean. Yeah,
Gotcha, yeah.
I hate Contact, but I
love that movie. Fuck you.
I hate it, dude. The second
What is wrong with it?
spoilers for Contact. So the
Wait, before you do that, explain the plot. Like in
anyway, so the Supreme Intelligence appears to you as who you like most respect or like loved in your life, so you're like more receptive to it. And it's like a pretty cool concept. And so I think something like Rasputin doesn't necessarily have to do that, but I think personifying those kind of extreme intelligences into something besides like a big metal box is more interesting.
Something that is hyper intelligent. What would it do if it was given form?
Exactly.
That is very interesting.
Like character.
But anyway, why do you hate Contact?
Contact, the spoilers for Contact if you haven't seen it, which, you know,
basic plot of Contact, go ahead.
Basically aliens make contact with Jodie Foster. Is that her?
Could have been.
Like
I know Matthew McConaughey's in it.
like-
Matthew McConaughey's like the religious dude.
Yeah, he's a weird like religious dude. And they basically send plans to aliens send plans to the humans to like make like some sort of space travel, time travel machine to like contact them. And they're like, they finish up the first one and they're about to do it, but it turns out like some eco-terrorists or something fucking sabotage the thing and it explodes and it doesn't work.
And kills the other guy.
Yeah, and then kills the other guy. But luckily, turns out some secret billionaires on a secret island built a second backup one. This like $1 trillion
a machine
project.
the size of the Empire State Building. It's enormous. Like, it's pretty ridiculous that they're able to build it.
Like, so this whole time, this secret $1 trillion project on an island was just being built
under wraps.
And it makes the whole point of the terrorist plot basically like completely inconsequential. Like, it does not matter at all that the first one got blown up just because immediately they're like,
it's like literally
yeah,
literally immediately like imagine if the Challenger rocket exploded and they're like, it's fine.
It's fine, just send the second one.
We have a spare.
We have plenty in there.
We have one on the shelf back there. Do you remember when Funhouse and Jeff and Michael played Kerbal Space Program? Mm-hmm. That was really fucking funny. Anyway, yeah, Contact is awesome. Fuck you. I love pretty much every movie about space from the 80s and 90s. So it's kind of my fault.
It's like a nice optimistic space movie, but I also think
it's also very religious.
Yeah, I also think just the part where she talks to aliens and it's just like they're personified as like her dad or something, just so she would accept their form, is like a little hokey as well.
It was cool though. It was more comforting. Rather than seeing what I actually look like, I'm going to choose a form where I know you're going to be most comfortable around me. And it's just like, yeah, that makes diplomatic sense. Like, why wouldn't you do that if that was an option? But also, it's inherently deceptive. Like,
but also
somebody's dad.
It's bullshit because the aliens end up not doing anything. They're just like, Yeah, we just wanted to say hi initially. We'll reach out again in like 1,000 years or something like that.
Advanced, yeah.
Yeah, and they were. I'm like, what the fuck was the point of all this?
It was pretty stupid.
This is so dumb.
The crux of the film is like, and I use that word because I heard it from you once, so thanks, Dad. But the crux of it is like, she doesn't believe Matthew McConaughey's like spiel about faith and stuff and God and whatever, and she's like, yeah, I'm not religious, and then she's like going to be the pilot of. You ever see the sort of you know the NASA thing where they get you in a little stick with a ball on the end and they just swing you around?
The G-force training.
With G-forces. You never seen that, really?
No.
Oh, it's pretty popular.
All right. Well, I'm sorry.
Idiot.
They like show you in science class and stuff.
Yeah, they do, and they spin you around just to get you used to G-forces, so you can go up in the rockets and jets and stuff. And she is doing that for the machine. So that's like the inside of the machine. That's going to be the what it like generates some sort of like energy that teleports her across the universe. And in real time, nothing happens. It's just for everybody else watching, it just spins and then it drops instantly. And for her, it was 15 minutes in another part of the galaxy. She was talking to an alien who was like skin suited as her dad so that she would be more comfortable, and it like read her mind and stuff. But when she went to court and she was like talking to the council of the World Trade Center or whatever fucking people, they were like, so what happened? And she was just like, I was in another galaxy and I talked to someone who looked like my dad who said that they were an alien, and they were like, we don't believe you. And the crux of it is like, she didn't believe Matthew McConaughey on what he said, and they're saying it's like, what if it was a hallucination? And she was like, it wasn't a hallucination. I believe that it happened. And then Matthew McConaughey smirks because he's Matthew McConaughey. And it was just so kind of dumb. That was like the worst climax for a movie ever, but I still really enjoyed it. It was really cool.
It was pretty annoying because like they had all these like recording devices in the pod she was in specifically for this purpose. And it was like, nothing happened. What are you talking about? You've been here the whole time. And I was like, this is dumb. Like this whole movie basically served as a 2-hour long like r/Christianity takedown of r/atheism. What happened to you? What's that?
I used my super. It didn't work, and then he died instantly anyway because he was immune. It's like the strike is now over. This is Valis Thune. He's on the ground, just a smear, and he's dead.
Rip. Poor.
And now we go to the end. That was it.
I've never seen this strike, by the way.
Nobody has.
What?
I
said I've never seen. Okay, all right.
I don't know why are we doing anything now? It's over. Contact was made. Where's Matthew McConaughey?
Matthew McConaughey is the end strike
Who's this
boss.
schmuck?
And he's just smirking at you.
Dude, he was so annoying in that movie. He was really genuinely the most annoying character in the world.
Did you guys hear about
He was in a Beach Bum movie.
Yeah, the Beach Bum movie he was in recently with Anne Hathaway.
And Snoop
That was
Dogg.
no good.
That should be the top credit, you stupid
No,
idiot.
Snoop Dogg was not in it. Shut up.
Yes, he was!
Snoop Dogg?
What are you talking about?
Christ. Oh my god.
Look it up.
Oh my god.
Bro.
Patrick
Oh
will
my
kill
god,
you.
shut up.
I promise you,
kill
Snoop Dogg
you.
is not.
You're
in
such
this
a
movie.
big baby. Every time we like record something and then some like scandalous subject comes up, you're like, I don't want to talk about this. You're such a pussy.
I don't know if you're talking to me or him.
You!
Why? I don't know anything
You do
about
that
this.
all the time.
I don't know anything about this.
I'm not even mentioning just specifically this.
The movie,
it's like usually
you're talking
every
about
time
a
we go-
different movie
What's
that's
scandalous?
This is my bad. You're talking about a movie literally called Beach Bum. There's another movie that just came out called Serenity where he literally plays
It's a virtual reality.
a man on the beach. And the whole premise of the movie is that, well, the plot twists is that the movie takes place inside of a video game that his son programmed like in the future or something. It's bizarre. I haven't actually seen it,
strange.
but that's just what I've heard people like say about it. And
It doesn't look like it wouldn't. It's like it looks like I would cringe in the theater if I went and saw it.
exactly. It's fucking weird. Who directed this?
Matt McConaughey.
No, not Matthew McConaughey. Some random dude called Steve Knight. So good
That's
for you,
cool,
I
man.
guess.
I have a
Anyways.
book.
You have a what?
I have a book.
What's the book?
He's gonna go read it now. He's done.
Okay.
That's
Nice.
it.
This is gonna turn into an audiobook for whatever it is Patrick is grabbing right now.
He just pulled out the Bible.
Oh, word. Oh, is this the thing
book.
we had to decipher
Shut up.
the handwriting of?
It is by, let's see, Charles Knight, London, and Charles Knight and Company, Ludgate Street, 1845. Spencer and his poetry. Some loser got his poetry published.
Some loser.
Pat, what do you do with all these old books you find?
Well, I've only got the two, and one of them is with my mom. It's the Don Quixote thing, and I've got the other two.
That wasn't. I don't. That's the publisher. Pretty sure.
Yeah, it is.
That's the author.
Fuck them.
Fuck them. You heard it here first, folks.
And then this is a New Testament red letter edition Bible to Joyce and Shelby Jean from Mother and Daddy. Christmas, December 25th, 1945.
That's so crazy.
It is pretty cool.
And you
right?
just found that at a
small
thrift
Bible.
store?
It is. Yeah, I mean this is yeah, I got both at a thrift store.
Is it a revised version? Is it a...
No, I think New Testament means like it's not Old Testament. Like
Yeah, New
what
Testament
any
is
of that
half of the
means.
Bible.
it's like not as
half
brutal.
the Bible? It's
Yeah.
not as okay, cool.
It sort of looks like it's got blood on it.
It does look bloodstained.
But yeah, this is like if you ever go to a church. I never have really.
Right,
but
next time I go to a
for
church.
weddings and funerals, I like. You remember the little girl who died?
Yeah.
I
think that was the last time I was in a church.
Really?
It's been a long time.
Were you at the thing where they show the body?
The wake?
Maybe could have been that. I don't know. But
Maybe that is what I was at.
I remember
I don't
every
know.
time I go to a church in the pews, which is the dumbest name for chairs ever.
Yeah.
Pew. There was a priest in ancient times who was obsessed with laser guns, and he was just like, you know what we're gonna fucking call these chairs? There's a little like pocket in the front of you that's the back of the other pew.
They have
in
books,
there
yeah.
they've got Bibles like this, like these thin, soft
Yeah.
cover Bibles. But yeah, I thought it was cool. I have a
is
friend
cool.
who thinks it's stupid that I wanted to buy it because it's a Bible, and neither of us are religious, but
No, Bibles are...
it's cool for a different reason. It's like having Hellboy has a Bible from 1945 on his belt for sure.
Yeah.
It's just like a charm.
Bibles are interesting from like a historical perspective, and also like some of the stories in there are actually pretty interesting. Like a lot of like religious and Christianity stuff can be pretty shitty, but the actual texts themselves are often actually pretty unique and like I think are cool to have around. Like
I posted what?
I would really like to actually like give the Quran like a good read or like a gander. I know that's something like people do. There's
Remember in V for Vendetta when Stephen Fry has a copy of the Quran in his little sex dungeon?
I've not seen V for Vendetta.
It's
so I
pretty
don't know.
Nothing's kinkier than religion.
I posted
Yeah.
both of them on.
Huh? What did you say?
Nothing's kinkier than religion.
Yeah.
I posted both of them on Thrift Store Halls, which is a subreddit. And someone said, I've heard that some books from the 1700s and 1800s are made from paper that's far better than what later publishers used. So some of these really old books can hold up better than, say, books from the 1930s.
That's actually
Even though I've got another book that held up just as well from 1945.
I didn't like know that was a actual thing that they used different
Yeah, I was
kinds
really
of paper.
confused that this is... I thought there was a fake or something, because 1845 was... Let me think.
Think before you
What's 2019 minus 1845? 174 years old.
Jesus.
That's older than everybody in my house's age combined. It's just ridiculous.
So again, that's the publishing company. That could be when the publishing company was open.
Fuck you. It's from 1845.
Your
I'm
logic.
just saying. I'm just putting it out there.
Are you looking for proof that it's not? It's also,
I'm just-
something about it that I thought made it seem more believably old was that the seam isn't flawless. Like, there's mistakes have been made, and you can tell that there's a little bit of error to each of the individual things, which means that there was a stamp, a metal stamp that they had to change out that pulled away from the paper every time they press it down with ink. It bothers me so much that this idiot got his fucking shit published, and I'm the only one who knows.
Looks like crocodile skin cover.
It does, yeah.
You know
It
what?
actually kind of looks like if you ever see those projects people make where they take a bunch of colored pencils and then super glue them together and then sand them.
It does look like that, actually. Yeah, it's really good.
Oh, that does look cool. I should go to thrift stores more. There's a
It
Goodwill
takes
right
a
next to it.
long time to find books like this because you have to dig to like the bottom of a hamper full of crap, and it's super heavy. But yeah,
The last time I went to the thrift store, they just had 30,000 copies of Modern Warfare 2 for like $1 each.
oh yeah, you showed me about
I
that.
was like, what the fuck?
I end up always buying like another hoodie.
Yeah, like it's hard because getting clothes at a thrift store that fit you well is really tricky on top of just finding stuff that you like.
Completely, yeah.
But things like hoodies and sweatshirts and things like that are easy because they don't have to fit you well. They just kind of fit like that.
I can, you know what I just noticed about this? It looks like an orange. Like, you know, when you take the peel off an orange, it's got individual.
What are you pointing
anyway,
at?
it doesn't matter. I'm pointing at the open
also,
directory thing from Destiny. But
it could also be like a basketball.
it could also be like a basketball. That says exactly how interesting both of us are.
It also here, it says that, oh no, what page is it here? It says that envied means disliked. That's not the same thing, right? To envy something and dislike it.
Envy means jealousy.
This is a quote from the page 226 of Spencer in his poetry. Rudely thou wrongest my dear heart's desire in finding fault with her too portly pride. The thing which I do in her most I do most in her admire is for the world is of the world unworthy most envied. And then at the bottom, it's got a footnote, and then at the bottom it says disliked is what envied means, which I guess you could say there's a cuck.
It does say cuck in the book, but that besides the point was completely irrelevant. Well, I don't know why. I was just saying, why does it say envied is disliked? But anyways, continue.
What the fuck?
Yeah, continue talking about it.
Continue being entertaining.
What was that thing about? No, it was just like something I noticed when I was like scrolling through Twitter is that like this is totally off topic from what we were talking about, but like why is there a Simpsons thing for literally everything, every possible situation?
Because they made that show for fucking 35 years or something like that.
Yeah.
But like
people
the fact,
are always surprised about that.
the people that have like this sort of like insane categorical knowledge of every reference in The Simpsons and like every joke and like how to use it is like bizarre to me.
I'm getting better at that. I'm watching a ton of YouTube clips.
Yeah.
I love that show. It's really funny.
I used to watch The Simpsons every day when I was like in middle school and elementary school. Like just whatever reruns or new
So
shit
you
they
go
had.
home and you watch that on TV?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
On Fox or whatever?
Yeah, before streaming was a thing. Turn to Channel 5 and just like watch it at like 7 or 7:30 whenever it happened.
When I came home, I would go to the History Channel, which was 77, Discovery Channel, which was 73, and FX, which was 81. And if I was lucky, there was something cool on Nick
FX.
or on Cartoon Network. Yeah. And I would mostly just watch Pawn Stars and crap. And what's his name? Dirty Jobs.
That's cool.
How It's Made. Pickers, which is
American Pickers.
American Pickers was pretty good. What did I watch?
Did you say Storage Wars?
Storage Wars, yeah.
I never watched Storage Wars. That one seemed like
My favorite part was when they opened it at first, and then I would flip away after they discover what's in there. I was mostly just interested in that, and then I would come back. It was the science of like picking which channel has an ad on, and then just going to like your least favorite channel, even though there's something that you don't want to watch on, but it's not an ad, so I might as well.
There used to be like a science of like just scrolling through the guide real quick, like figuring out.
I never did that.
Like
we didn't have a guide on our tube.
Oh, you didn't? When we had a guide, I thought it was like, this is it. I'll never be bored again because I'll know what's on every single channel. And then I was still bored.
There was a couple years where fucking Wolverine X-Men Origins was on FX like every day for like 6 hours. It was fucking ridiculous.
They do that sometimes with some shows.
And then Harry Potter during Christmas season.
On ABC Family. I love that shit. That's now freeform.
100 Days of Christmas.
There was, dude, Spike played all the Star Wars movies all the time.
Did, yeah.
And I remember I slowly like recorded them on our like DVR like over time. So eventually I just had all 6 Star Wars movies back when it was just 6. Just like so sitting on my DVR weird. For free. It was dope. It was a great time.
6.
Yeah. And like literally every day after school I'd come back and I'd be like, what am I in the mood for today? I'm feeling Attack of the Clones today. Or like, no, I'm feeling a classic like Empire Strikes Back today. So I've seen each of those movies like 20 million times. And that's why
Empire Strikes Back is Which one is the last one in the original trilogy?
Return of the Jedi. The third one.
Return of the Jedi. I only enjoy that movie for the Luke, Vader, and Emperor scenes. So it's a lot of skipping through Ewoks for that every time I watch it.
I don't care about the Ewoks too much.
I hate them.
But I think...
I just think of Harrison Ford on set just hating his fucking life.
But yeah, Return of the Jedi has some like weird low points, but then like some of the highest high points as well.
Yeah, completely. That's a great way to say it.
So it's like weirdly balanced because like the Luke and Vader stuff in the Emperor's throne room is absolutely incredible, and then you have like the weird, at least in the new releases, when they're in Jabba's palace, and then there's that weird 30-second singing montage of CGI monsters that don't look good.
It's amazing how people talk about all the time. They also use that clip of George Lucas looking at the first viewing of what was it, Phantom Menace?
Yeah.
And he was just like, maybe we went too far in some places. And people talk about all the time how there's too much going on. There's like every shot has like 1,000 things happening. It's just too much to absorb. But for all of that, those movies, it's like the first two could not be more boring. It was just so dull all the way through.
Yeah.
Like the Phantom Menace is one of those dull, like trudging movies ever.
Yeah. Phantom Menace is just like, I still think it's worse than Attack of the Clones because I think it's just boring. Like, it might be less stupid than Attack of the Clones, but at least Attack of the Clones is like cool. Like the world is really interesting, and like, you know, Battle of Geonosis fight is awesome. Count Dooku fight is great. Like all that stuff. At least it has that going for it.
You see Django for the first time.
Exactly. But like Phantom Menace has like just the Gungans and like weird CGI, uncomfortable like dialogue, Anakin being annoying as fuck as like a kid. Like,
dude, Boss Nass, the
it's
Gungan
just,
King.
Yeah, it's fucking stupid. Just shakes his cheeks. Like Phantom Menace is one like I never feel like I ever want to watch again, just because it's boring and like also bad. Attack of the Clones is like entertaining and bad, so it's like Transformers kind of, you know. Like I know this is not good, but at least like it's cool. It looks cool.
Those became the Bumblebee I saw.
I didn't see the
trailer for. I saw the trailer for.
Oh, okay.
I wanted to see it more than I've wanted to see any of the other Transformers movies because it looked so much like the cartoon.
It was pretty good, apparently.
They flipped the script.
Yeah.
And like John Cena's in it. Yeah. That instantly buys my fucking ticket.
I've seen it. It was apparently a really, really good movie, but
that's what they say, yeah.
It didn't make as much money as the other Transformers movie.
They made the Transformers less like 1,000 pieces of garbage, just like transforming into a thing, which I thought was cool. I've always thought that was cool.
I thought it looked cool at the time, yeah, but now it just looks like busy, and all of them, they don't look very distinct from each other.
It feels like, yeah, that makes sense. That would be what they look like if they transformed from a car, like a sedan going into a giant robot. All the little, like, the vents and the tubes. It needs to go somewhere. It made sense. And they were like... Someone was finally, who actually enjoyed the original cartoon, finally got on the council of people and was like, fuck you, we're going to make original Transformers that go like, and then 4 seconds, and then they're like another robot. And they've got little blocky legs.
Yeah, it's a lot blockier, and like the transformations don't make as much like realistic sense,
like
but
toys.
It doesn't matter.
They look like giant toys.
Yeah.
It's like, it also looks very like Japanese sort of anime.
Yeah.
And when like they cut to Cybertron and it's just a giant CGI thing, and for a brief moment you can see how the animators and the directors are like, we should make an entire movie of CGI. Why do we even include people in this? It's like, and I was like, yes. And then they go back to little girl with her Bumblebee. It's just like, you guys are fucking stupid. Like, I am willing so desperately to pay for a movie where I do not have to see humans at all. Like, just make an entire Transformers movie. Like, in Donkey's review of Spider-Man PS4, which is weird that it's called that. That's like not Spider-Man 7, but Spider-Man PS4. But,
yeah, because it's just called Spider-Man, but you need a way to distinct it from
because it's like, I'm playing Spider-Man. It's like, oh, which one? It's like, what do you mean, which one? I'm not playing fucking Spider-Man 1 on my Xbox. But he says... he goes from playing as MJ to playing as Spider-Man. It's like, man, this is fucking awesome. That makes you think, you know, they should make a game that's just all playing Spider-Man. They should call it Spider-Man if they make one like that. It's just like talking about how, why would I have to play as this stupid idiot? Like, I want to play Spider-Man. His name is on the box. It was really cool.
Yeah, the whole like MJ and like Miles sections were kind of dumb.
They were very dumb. And also, probably...
They just could have been cutscenes.
Yeah, they really could have been
cutscenes.
There wasn't even a fun satisfaction to beating those. It was just like, finally this is done.
It just felt like a weird like stealth stun section. That was like, this is not the game I was like playing.
It's like the original Assassin's Creeds when you go into the present day and you play as a person and you're like, I want to go back to being an assassin on rooftops and like on a ship.
Did you enjoy being an elite globe-trotting assassin? Well, we forgot this fucking guy who's a bartender.
See, I was a fucking idiot as a kid and thought the plot to Assassin's Creed was super fucking cool and interesting, so I loved it when it came back to like modern day.
I remember back near Assassin's Creed 4, like around that time, I think Twitter had polls.
Revelations.
And I don't know, like the Twitter had the poll feature, and somebody was like, "How would you feel if Assassin's Creed completely dropped the present day stuff and they just completely dropped the plot? Like they're not like they don't find a way around it. They're just like, let's just forget about it. Let's like act like it never happened." And everyone was like, "I wouldn't care at all. Do that, please."
I think I saw. It might have been that, or it might have been another one just like that, but it was a poll like that, and it was like numerically like piled on to fuck all that shit. Mm-hmm. And there was a few, like 20% that was just like, maybe, I like the story. And in the replies, there were people like going to bat for Desmond's fucking arc. It's like, who cares? Like, Desmond is so goddamn boring.
You know what just came out? What's today? Is it 29th or 30th?
Yeah,
30th. You know what came out yesterday? Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered.
Oh yeah, I saw the trailer for that.
I enjoyed Assassin's Creed 3
I hate Assassin's Creed 3 so much.
At the time.
I didn't like the parts where people were talking, but yeah, I enjoyed it.
The first 8 hours of the game you play as not the main character.
That's not cool.
That was a cool part of the game. I enjoyed
and that was the best part of the game too, because the main character sucks.
I don't know about best. I don't know about best at all. I also liked how you had that giant fucking... You could get an upgraded axe called like this Sailor's Axe or something, like the Navy Axe or something. And it was just giant. And every time I think about that, it's like that would feel like your Thor again. It's like just like this giant axe.
I like the character. A lot of people didn't like how the character was so, he was not he coming off of XEO. Yes, he wasn't like the greatest character, but thinking about what he'd been through, he wouldn't be a funny jokes all around guy.
We've talked about this before, and you hated him.
No, there's no way. No, I like him.
It was like one of like the first 7 podcasts, and you were like, he was so boring, and he was angry all the time, and
it made sense.
It did make sense, yeah. I liked it because it was sort of like, you're not playing as John Smith, who is the conqueror of the West. He's playing as
very different perspective.
It's like what I would have wanted from Red Dead Redemption 2.
Oh, yeah.
Where you could have played as Charles, the half Native American, half black character. Mm-hmm. It's like...
That would have been cool.
Where's that guy for Assassin's Creed? You could have done that.
You remember the scene where they're like burning your village and like killing everyone?
And the Apple of Eden is like being hidden.
I don't know... Before any of the Apple of Eden stuff, it's like you're fighting them and you have to leave. Like your objective is like escape. And like if you didn't, after a while music would start playing. Like it's just like endless soldiers, and like I didn't want to leave. Like I wanted to stay and fight.
I don't remember that. I probably just immediately did what the objective told me to do.
Yeah, no, like super cool violins start to play, and it's like you have to leave now. You have to leave your village. It's all sad. It's like
violins.
I also enjoyed your mentor. I liked him a lot. The guy with the cane.
Oh, yeah.
And he was just like, he basically gave you his shit from when he was an assassin. Mm-hmm. And imagining, because it's what, 1700s or something like that? It's 1700s, right?
I'm not good with the time periods.
Because the Boston Tea Party happens in that game.
In the game, yes.
So it's like 1730 or something like that.
No, it's like after, it's during the Revolution, so 1770 something.
Something, whatever. It's just like really, really early on in the stages of America. Mm. So there's a black man who owns his own house and nobody really fucks with. And I thought that was like, fuck. Like, what is this guy had to deal with when he was an assassin, when he was a young man?
Yeah.
It was really interesting to me.
I did like the mentor character. He was pretty interesting. Mm-hmm. But
anyone with a cane is automatically cool to me.
I watched the trailer for the remastered
it looks really
Assassin's
good.
Creed 3. They use the
Unity.
They use it's like the original trailer, but there are cuts to like side by side comparisons because obviously it's a new trailer.
The old trailer. Are you talking about the gameplay trailer or the cinematic?
Not the one where the girl's singing "I'm Coming
That was
Home."
so cool.
That was so cool. I agree. It made me go back and watch that. But
Yeah.
it was the original trailer, which was still really cool to me. But like they had cuts to like the side by side, so you could see like the lights. And
do you remember the one that they put out that was land where my fathers died, land of my people's pride. Like this girl softly singing that song. I don't remember. It could be Star Spangled.
I'm sure as soon as I see it, I would remember.
And Connor is just fucking putting on a clinic of just killing dudes, and he's marching his way through these enemies, and it was just so fucking cool. It was awesome. And then you play the game, and it was like sort of clunky.
Yeah.
And it just didn't work right. And then going to like Origins, I want them to somehow like take the mechanics of that and just shove it into all the other games, because I would go back and complete all of them if I could.
I'm just like thinking about Origins right now and like how much like that changed my perspective on Assassin's Creed games. And like previously, like Assassin's Creed was always kind of like Grand Theft Auto in a way, because I felt like, oh, this is just like a really clunky, like big, beautiful open world that doesn't really give you a lot of actual freedom. Then I played Origins, and I think also a big part of it was playing it on PC, because like having it run at like a decent frame rate was nice, and so it was like a lot of like, it was way more responsive, and the world just looked incredible, and just like going around and actually getting to enjoy that and take it in just like totally changed my perspective, because the combat was smooth and fluid, and it actually felt reactive. I was never like locked on to like, the camera would always like lock on your like immediate fight in old Assassin's Creed games, but in Origins it never does that unless you specifically hit the lock on button, and you can always like move in and out like as you need to like deal with enemies, and it's great. And I don't know. I just fucking love Origins, dude. The more I think about it,
it's clicking this.
Not in Origins. In the older games, you're saying like you couldn't go in and out. You press left
Pretty
trigger,
sure it was left
and
trigger.
you'd go into combat mode.
Like Revelations, I remember you had.
Yeah,
press
but like
left trigger.
yeah. But I mean, like when a crowd
no, you like tap it.
When a crowd of enemies like surrounds you, the camera will kind of like try to stay in that fight unless you purposefully leave it, and then the camera will kind of like lag and then switch to be like, okay, so you really want to leave
press
the fight.
left trigger, and then it's like I'm not in fight mode anymore. I want to be in free roam mode. Like when you're in fight mode, right trigger is like your guard. If you press left trigger to go out of fight mode, right trigger becomes your sprint.
Yeah, it's the portal.
So it's in and out. You can.
I haven't played like
Fuck
those
you.
old
You don't
games.
know anything about Assassin's Creed.
But I will agree. Even with that in mind, it is more like freeing. And
something that I liked more and more in those games was
the older ones or the newer ones.
The old ones. It's sort of like I didn't play 1. I played 2.
That's exactly how I said it.
1 is the only one I didn't play.
I mean 2.5 Revelations, and then 3, and then Black Flag came out, and I really hit my stride of like loving those games. And
with Black Flag,
I kind of miss the mini games where it's like send assassins and stuff.
Brotherhood was so good about that. I love that.
Or the tower defense thing in Revelations.
I actually really like that.
I really enjoyed that a lot.
I really like that. They were like mobile games within your full game. It's kind of cool.
It's like trivia in NBA 2K.
Yeah, there were a few like side games like that worked, but Revelations tried to do some weird tower defense thing that wasn't fun at all. I don't know if you guys remember that.
No, yeah.
Where you're like on the.
We were just saying about how we like that.
Oh really? Oh fuck! Sorry.
I love that.
It's
game.
all right. It was
How
fun.
dare you?
I do remember people were like, "Ooh, this like you don't have to do it."
People were fucking dumbasses.
You don't have to do it.
It's not even required. It just gets you more currency. Like you're so stupid.
What was the Assassin's Creed 3 one? Oh, it was like sailing and stuff.
You would send
like
ships. It was like the
Assassin's Creed 4 was the lumber and the iron and stuff that you'd sail with. Like
I got so good at farming that.
I like that. That one made the most sense to me because it was just like you get gold and like basic resources, and then you use the gold to upgrade stuff. That's it. It wasn't like XP, like this, like it's a game, so you get XP and you spend XP points. It was literally like you killed people on that ship, you took all their money and you used it to buy another cannon.
It was so it was a real like game.
Yeah.
Like you could tell that there were people making this game that play games. And there's so many games that I play, like the fucking shit that you had to do in Spider-Man with Mary Jane and Miles. It's like, I love Miles and I can't wait for him to be Spider-Man. But until then, get him the fuck off my screen. I don't want to see his stupid little scrawny ass. Like, give me Spider-Man.
I can't imagine, like,
working on it.
Like the test, like watching the game testers. And they had to have been like, another
damn it.
Like,
and the developers, the most boring part of the game.
Like, watching them, and they'd like look away, they'd be like, I didn't hear anything. I didn't hear them say anything. They love it.
It's also such a, like, it's not like, in comparison to regular stuff, it's boring. It is that, but it's coming off the back of being a Spider-Man, the most exciting, thrilling, satisfying thing in the world, where you leap 90 stories if you get that upgrade. It's just like, that was fun. Do you want to play as this little kid? It's no.
Frustrating. Like going to a person that is scared of 3 guards with batons.
Who has to get a taser and pepper spray.
When you know that if you were Spider-Man, you could take 15
you could
with
punch
guns.
a hole through their chest.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, I like the idea of, what's her name? MJ? Like, what's her full name? Mary Jane. Mary Jane, like, becoming more of a hero, but give her fucking powers, because her whole, like, plot of, like, I want to be your partner. It's like, you can't fucking do anything. You're a human. I'm a god. Like, leave me alone.
I mean, it would make more sense if she was more of a
investigative
the person
reporter,
in the chair.
Like her job says she is.
well, no. If she wanted to work with him, she wouldn't be going out into the
It doesn't make any sense.
Things. She would be like, I don't know, she'd be good with computers or something, and she'd be like, oh, I just found out this, and this. You should go check it out.
I want to be your partner, so I'm going to go fight the rhino.
I'm going to go... exactly. I'm going to go punch that guy with a gun.
No, Peter, I'm your partner.
I got this. I got your help.
MJ, no, please. And it's like, he has to pull her ass out of the fire like 4 or 5 times in the game. And she's like in the tent with the dude. Remember when she was like, she invaded like, the Russian bitches tent area,
the base,
and she's like, she managed to get her way in there, and then a guard shows up, and then she's like, oh no, and then Peter like busts through the tent because he was watching her the entire time, just waiting for her to fuck up. It was just like, I'm gonna go in there and I'm gonna carry him.
It wasn't just the guard; it was the main guy that she was trying to talk to.
Yeah,
right.
And then Peter comes in, and then he falls over and busts his head and like knocks himself out. It was just like.
No, like what was like she gets to the guy and she thought he would listen and just leave and
he was so terrified of her.
I know.
He was so scared.
How did you get here?
That was a little weird.
And she was like shocked. She was like, "Wait, no, why are you calling the guards and not listening to me?"
And then Peter just fucking and he busts through the tent, and then he falls over, knocks himself out, and she's like, "Peter, you idiot!" And Peter's like,
I had this under control. And she was like, everything was going according to plan.
And then he's like pointing a gun at her, like, what the fuck? I hated her so much. I like Miles more in the DLC because he gives you phone calls about like, well, when can we do some more training because he got bit by the spider, he's going to get his powers, and It was
DLC. I should play the DLC.
They're pretty good, and I'm sure they're probably cheaper than they were when I bought them now.
And they're all out now, right?
Yeah,
they're all out.
There was Turf Wars, the Black Cat one. Can't remember the other one.
Fun fact, not fun at all. I don't think Black Cat's interesting, and I don't really like her character.
You will hate her more in the DLC.
I feel like she's just annoying.
She isn't annoying in the DLC. She's more that she's a lying bitch.
Yeah, I mean, she's just annoying. I just don't.
Her like side missions in the main game where you take photos of the cat dolls or whatever was annoying.
That shit, that made no sense to me.
Yeah.
It was like she put up like an SLR, like 3600, like a $900 camera. Every single. I mean, she steals diamonds for a living, but like
she steals all of them. Yeah.
She probably stole them all. She probably just stole the cameras.
That's very true. There's like probably 9,000 photographers in New York who are missing their DSLRs. But she set up that with like an expensive tripod and like a bunch of little like goodies like around the camera, like to show that she was really staking this place out. It's like, but the whole point of me coming here was that I take a picture of it. So why do you have all this? Like, just do that and then leave. Like, why do you have all this stuff?
I mean, wasn't the idea that she was camping out there and she was like stalking her next
she also gave you a fucking phone call, and she was just like, "Go find my cameras, idiot," and then she left. It's like, if she's staking something out, just take your shit back. Like, you need that, right? If you want to,
you gotta carry it around and everything. It's just
and she's got a very, I mean, that's skin tight suit.
Yeah, nowhere to put
wearing
it.
nothing at all.
Nowhere to put it.
Her whole character is just annoying Peter for a living.
You're stupid. You're dumb.
That's it.
You don't know anything.
I don't know anything. I don't know about him.
Selena is.
Is her name also Selena?
Catwoman. I'm so.
Yeah, that's
stupid.
Catwoman.
Black Cat. What is her name?
Did I call her Catwoman earlier?
I could have.
I think we called her Black.
They're very, very similar.
They're the identical thing.
Yeah, they're the same thing.
It's a cousin of mine.
We saw.
Yeah. Did you ever feel like Spider-Man kind of did what the which ones like starting at like Revelations, Assassin's Creed started to just litter the map with collectibles?
It did.
Oh, yeah.
I felt like it was kind of like that in Spider-Man, but it was okay because one, they were fun to collect because of the movement system.
You get some
web
for it
swinging,
as well.
and you got something at the end of it. It wasn't just like an achievement. It was like a mission or an interaction, a cutscene,
Upgrade
something.
or something.
Even the stuff that was completely, like, it did give you an upgrade, but the thing itself was hard to get. Like, just getting the stuff all around the city.
Mm-hmm.
The backpacks. I listened to every single one of those.
Yeah.
It was like Aunt May's recipe for wheat cakes. And, like,
Oh, yeah.
his first, like, the hat that he wore when he delivered pizza. It was just like, what the fuck? This is so cool.
They were interesting.
Like,
And
I
also,
think
I felt like he was a person in that game. He was an actual human being.
for sure, and I like that a lot. I still think there were like too many collectibles, and it got kind of annoying. Just to like, you need 2 of the blue one and 3 of the red one, and then like 1 really hard to find gold one to get this like costume you really want. And I was like, this is annoying.
Yeah, the
You're
research
talking about
tokens
the
is what you're talking about with the blue ones.
Well, weren't a lot of them. There was also the bases.
Yeah, every
You
collectible
had to
gives you
clear.
stuff.
Did you?
Different
I
ones.
don't think of those as collectibles. Those are like activities to do. I mean things that you literally just you pick up and
You
then
need for upgrade points, yeah.
you
Backpacks
pick
give
up-
you like upgrade points though.
Yeah, you do.
Yes, but I'm saying you don't you
I
just
don't see
find
that
them
as
and pick
annoying.
it up. That's a
because
collectible.
there's no other game that I can think of that I was so happy to just trudge from the bottom of Manhattan to the
Well,
top.
yeah, well that's the
Yeah.
thing. That's why they weren't annoying is because of the web slink. It gave you something to web slink for. Like,
It wasn't as bad, yeah.
the
I
other day,
enjoyed just moving around so much that like it was
the other
fun.
day I just loaded up the game and started. I didn't do any missions. I was
Just
swinging around.
I was doing
So-
that while I was drunk because I was just like, this is the best.
Yes, and so when you have collectibles, it's just like a little motivational. Like, I'm web slinging, randomly. I might as well web sling that way towards that collectible I don't have, and it's fun.
It's like also it's sort of like because with every game you want to get there as fast as possible.
Right.
So you are learning faster and faster ways to just like pinpoint those like when you
momentum and
vault
the
onto
physics.
a surface and you hit A, it immediately throws you like 100 yards. It's just like
Satisfying.
I'm so fast. I'm Spider-Man.
It's not a moment of like
Trudging.
exactly
Like Red Dead Redemption.
exactly
hate
the
that
opposite
game.
of Red Dead Redemption.
What I was saying earlier about Miles was he would in the DLC he gives you these phone calls and he's like, I'm not Spider-Man yet and I'm boring and I hate myself. I would like to be Spider-Man. And me as Spider-Man, Peter Parker says, this is like, you know what, Miles? It's like, I mean, maybe if I find some time. It's just like, you're Spider-Man. You have no time. That's the whole point. You don't have any time for anything else. You have no time for any activities or hobbies. You are Spider-Man, and sometimes you take out the trash. That's your entire life. Like, you have no time for idiot, stupid kid. He can learn how to do shit. You did by yourself. Fuck this kid.
Don't say that.
Don't interpret it that way. How about that?
No, I didn't interpret it that way.
Yeah, sure.
No.
Yeah, tell it to the judge.
No.
All right. We got to do some
We've been going for a long
emails.
time.
No, we've only been going for like
An hour and 20 minutes.
That's a
that's a
long
long
time.
time, yeah. God damn.
It's fun. We had a lot of
This is
stuff.
like the Destiny and like Spider-Man Power Hour. So if people
Destiny
don't play games, it's
basically
like
Hey.
complaining about you though. It's not
Listen.
talking about the game.
You want me to talk?
No, we
talk
talked about the
four
lore
things
for
I
a
know
little
about.
bit.
Okay.
The 4 things that I like.
Yeah. All right. Sorry.
I don't want to do the podcast. We're going to talk about Iron Man. It's like, all right, I'll stick around.
All right. I'm fine.
there was a new Iron Man VR game announced for the PlayStation VR.
VR.
Yeah.
All right. Let me know when it comes to
VR.
Xbox.
Good.
I don't know if you guys saw it. The trailer looks pretty awful though. It's
Nope.
like super goofy.
I'm so sick of that. How do they fuck up being Iron Man so much?
They're like old.
I was because the game was so good. I was half expecting that Tony Stark would fly down in a suit and say "What's up" during Spider-Man. Like you go to the Avengers Tower and
That'd be fucking badass. What if you got to play as Iron Man in that? What if they had it was like
the game just becomes about Iron Man?
Yeah.
That'd be fucking cool.
Like the fact that you don't like all this stuff is going around, and like Jessica Jones, Doctor Strange, and the Avengers are all supposed to be in this universe as well, but they don't do anything. Like that always bothers me.
Well, I mean, when you know how you do the landmark stuff.
Yeah.
Like you go take pictures of stuff. Like if you take a picture of the Avengers Tower, Peter mentions like, I always miss the Avengers. Apparently they're off on the West Coast, and he like makes a reference to the West Coast Avengers. So apparently something is going on in California. I assume the wildfires have their attention.
The wildfires.
He was like, Wilson Fisk is taking over the city, and I'm just like, the entire state of California is burning down. And my giant lasers aren't helping.
Why aren't these lasers putting out the fires?
I didn't think they're through.
Oh, God. Okay. This first one is from Alyssa. Sup, dudes? Jumping in, sending photos into the sending photos of your dogs thing. Oh, this is such a cute dog. You should pull up the email, Pat.
Pull up the email, Pat.
Did you guys always intend to have Yaman on the pod, or was it originally just supposed to be Alex and Pat? Yaman is obviously the best, and I couldn't imagine the pod without him. When he actually wants to record, of course, but I was just curious.
I wanted both of you guys because you were the only people I know, and I was thinking like, who's funny? And then I thought of Yaman and not Pena, and then
and then you were like, two's not enough.
Is this a 3D Sims character from like Calliope Clark?
3D Sims character? Aren't they all 3D?
Could be.
Anyways, he was like, I'm gonna start a podcast, and I was used to being around people that are all talk, and I was like, yeah, you do that. And then he did one, and he was like, look, more than 6 people listened, and I was like,
And then you were like super self-conscious, like, I don't know how to talk.
Dude, I hated it. I hated those first few episodes.
I hate hearing my voice when I record it.
Those first few episodes are real rough.
Those were real rough. Oh, yeah.
Rough. Turned into a dog for a second.
Yeah, that's how rough it was. Get it? Like rough. Like Pat, like a dog. I smacked his arm.
I was shoveling chips in my mouth, and you smacked my arm.
A stupid joke.
Just sprayed them everywhere. A joke that they can't even see, by the way.
Oh, it's fine. That's why I told them. That's why I said it.
Can I read this one from
No.
Zoe?
Which one are you looking at? Oh, yeah, go for it.
This is, hey, I've emailed y'all a couple times about dumb lifeguard/stoner questions, so I thought I would join the trend of pet photos. The gray kitten is Tyrion, the puppy is Bronn, and both are named after Game of Thrones characters.
They're so cute.
Fucking what? Look at him! He's like, I don't know, let me tell you something, alright? This cat is gesturing very mafioso.
That dog looks like he doesn't want to be bothered.
Oh my god. Not that one. Oh, this one's good.
That's a nice
this is from Calliope Clark. I've struggled with depression for 10 plus years with episodes of Psychosis, Yeehaw, Chaos Brain, and personally, I think he's a slug bitch. Who are we talking? He preaches about mental health, but manipulates those struggling with it all the time. EA Sports.
Siren Cove.
Oh, on the Rewired Soul. I think that's like a YouTuber.
Siren Cove. Anyway, him and BetterHelp are pretty much tied for manipulating.
Mentally ill. Oh, I see.
BetterHelp the app?
Cheers, hoes.
There was that big Philip DeFranco was involved in this scandal around BetterHelp, which is like this service where you can just like video chat with like a therapist and whatever.
Right.
Where they weren't like they were letting people be therapists who weren't like licensed therapists. So it was just like random fucking people that would just like get on and then like tell people to like kill themselves, basically. Just like fuck with, you know, people who actually needed help. So
he's talking about.
Sorry, I'm looking at the next person's video of a dog. What were you saying?
There was a funny video. He was like talking about people killing themselves, and you started laughing.
Oh,
and you started laughing.
That's probably bad.
It's pretty fucked up, Pat. You sick.
So Was it him? Like Philip DeFranco, like promoted the Surface?
Yeah, he was sponsored by them and stuff, and said he used the service himself, which I don't know how true or not that is, but then it turned out the service was a little weird. So now he's not sponsored by them anymore. So who knows what really happened? Oh, did you look at the video of the dog?
Yeah, it's pretty hilarious.
Okay,
Here's a video. This is from Lauren Demeladi. Here's a video of my dog being a legend. It's got like a shirt on its head and sunglasses on. It's really cool. Also, this is detrimental. Crunchy or creamy peanut butter?
Oh.
I go with creamy.
Creamy for sure.
I also don't really eat peanut butter
I
that
don't
much.
ever eat peanut butter. Like, I'm sure it's not bad.
I used to when I was a kid.
Before.
I'd have a honey and peanut butter sandwich, but that's pretty much just cake. So I stopped eating those.
This one's from Maggie. This is just a funny meme. She says she's had a rough week because of grades. And Patrick, I don't hate your facial hair. It suits you. Hopefully you still have it when you guys read this. Do you still have it? Oh, you shaved it off.
Hair. It suits you. No, I shaved.
I just read it out. Why'd you have to read it again?
You shave.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why?
Sorry. Fuck you, Maggie.
All right.
Oh, well.
This is from J.E. None of my Christian friends can answer this, so I'm going to ask two atheists instead. Why do Christians like guns, even though Jesus was a pacifist?
I don't think...
That's it. I think you're talking about an intersection between religion and people who are on the right side of the spectrum, as in not correct, but right as in the direction. There is a intersection, but I don't think that's the reason that they like guns.
Your mom's religious, right?
Yeah, so does my dad.
I think people think that...
No, she hates them. So does my dad.
That's what I was saying. It was just like the counter.
Fuck you.
That's
I think the current modern day Christians think that like guns, they use them in like a justified way for like self-defense, obviously. So I don't think they see that as like a conflicting ideological point.
I can see in my head a shirt that says it's like those targeted shirts that are like, I'm an engineer, an electrician, I love God, and I protect my family. It's like that's exactly what I think about. So I know what you mean, but it's like I don't know if it's a connection so much as a commonality. Like if that's a word.
Yeah.
It's a word.
it sounds like a word. You just said
Shouldn't
it.
have.
Commonality is a good word.
Yeah, it's just it's something I notice as well, but I don't know if it's the reason that they like guns.
They like guns because Jesus tells them to like guns.
I deleted another one.
But no, yeah, that's basically it.
This one is from Thomas Isley, someone. What do you guys do with the unread emails? Just curious. Delete them. Also, Patrick, is your voice okay? That dying pterodactyl sound you make at the end of every episode has to be fucking up your vocal cords.
I don't know what sound you.
Oh, well, every time.
It's the thing you do at the end.
But no,
I do know that sound. He does that sound on Xbox sometimes.
The only thing that I could think of that would be fucking up my vocal cords is sucking dick, but I stopped doing that recently, so it's fine.
God.
More from Ben Hickey. Damn. Ben Hickey. Meh F Star Wars. I honestly can't stop thinking about how Alex brought up the fact that there was a car world war in the movie Cars. Because there's the guy in Cars who is a Jeep from World War II. And a car Hitler and car Jesus. I can't stop thinking about cars shooting at each other. Also, I sent an email a few podcasts ago, and I don't care if you guys read it or not, but I basically ask who your favorite clones are from Star Wars. If you want to read it, I don't care, but I just talked about my favorite story arc in the Clone Wars show and who my favorite clones are. I like Fives and Rex, obviously, and is Cody in the show? Is Commander Cody in the show?
Oh yeah, he is. I'm pretty sure.
Obi-Wan's sort of left-hand man.
Yeah. I like those guys as well. I think my favorite arc from the show is either like the Umbara one, which is the one that's really dark with the commander who hates clones and like sends them to like do whatever, or the one where they like find out about Order 66.
The guy's implanted.
Yeah, exactly.
That was pretty cool.
That was cool.
Also, it sort of like pushes the boundaries of what could have happened. Previous to the movies. And
yeah,
it was
exactly.
a little strange for that reason, but also like I wanted them to do that because this is so much better than the movies. Like,
Exactly.
They have license to do that shit.
Clone Wars is so good. This one is from Chelsea. It's kind of long, but I've skimmed it. So I'm gonna condense it to. Chelsea says she's been listening to us for a really long time and wants to pass on to everyone who's emailed us saying that they feel lonely and want friends, especially in the last year of high school and first year of university. I was exactly in that same spot when I first started listening, and incredibly enough, things do get better. I somehow made friends recently, and now I'm on a soccer team, even though I've never played soccer before. Life gets crazy cool, and sometimes you just gotta binge listen to a podcast. I love how you guys have been finding your groove, and the podcast is taking on an identity, or at least that's how I feel. And then she attaches pics of her cute little cat.
She attacks pics of her.
She attacks her cat.
She prints out literal like colored pictures and just.
Did you hear about the model that stomped out her dog in the elevator?
What?
What?
Really fucked up.
What was she wearing on her feet? Like,
I don't know. I didn't watch the video.
can you imagine getting stomped on while someone's wearing like stilettos?
Oof.
It wasn't stilettos.
You know who Pink is? Pink with an exclamation point.
Yeah, the actor.
The singer.
Not the actress, the singer. Sorry.
I remember seeing a picture of her when I was younger, where she was wearing stilettos that were like fully metal, and the stems to the heel was a spike, as in sharpened at the end. I was just like thinking about that a lot. Like if she wanted to, she could just wing one of those off and then kill someone with it.
Yeah,
but yeah, that's fucked up. Why'd she do that?
It's fucked.
I don't know. I don't care. She got punished for it, so it's okay.
As soon as you said elevator, I immediately thought of Ray Rice.
God, this cat is really cute. Chelsea, your cat is very cute. It reminds me a lot of like the cat from Sabrina and the Teenage Witch. It has that like mystical quality to it.
We have another one from Ben Hickey. Have you guys checked out the new Star Wars Battlefront 2 update? They added Titan mode, capital ship versus capital ship, and I love it. ARC troopers and commando droids were also added, and it's so awesome. You guys should definitely check it out. If you do, or already have, please give some feedback on your thoughts. That sounds really cool.
I read about it.
The two-ship combat.
Read about it online, and I've been meaning to try it. The only problem is I have Battlefront 2 on PC, and I just have my laptop, so I can't play it right now.
Battlefront 2 the old Battlefront 2
Yeah, that's coming out on Games for Gold in April.
Cool.
But this is for the new Battlefront 2. They added the new like game mode that's like really cool. But I'll have to give it a shot. It's like Battlefront 2 kind of aged a little bit better. It's not as like shit anymore, but it's still not. It's not like as captivating as I want it to be, I think. But that's pretty much it. What did you say we do with the unread emails?
I deleted it.
We don't like delete them. We like sit on them most of the time. So like if we don't get to your email, it's usually because we're sitting on it. So don't worry.
I believe you, Patrick.
Okay, cool. I think that's everything.
You remember that guy that I made really sad by like saying that I didn't like how he called me Charlton, and then he emailed us and said like he almost died from it. He was just like, no, we read it when you were here. It was like maybe we didn't. I don't know. He was just like when Patrick said that he didn't like me calling him Charlton, my hands started shaking, and I was just like, I didn't mean it like fuck you, pal. Go die in a hole. It was just like I'd rather you not do that. That was the extent of it. So if you genuinely feel like broken up about it, don't, idiot.
Cool. Any other points you guys want to bring up?
The point of a pencil.
Shut up. Someone just slid into my LinkedIn DM, so I'm gonna have to go see what that's about. Probably won't.
Have you ever used LinkedIn?
I did make an account.
I think I have one from Facebook.
I said that to you. The
LinkedIn is the most like self-aggrandizing social media platform. It's fucking awful.
It's also people on Reddit all the time and Twitter. They'll talk about how the way you present yourself in a resume should be the most exaggerated form of what your actual job is. Yep. And they'll say, like, if you're a customer service person, you should say, no, never do this. They say, like, I was an economic person advisor. Like, they'll just exaggerate.
Extent, but
it's like you're lying. You're lying to your potential employer, and they are not stupid. They read resumes all the time. Like, do not call yourself a landscape redesigner if you pick up grass. Like, just don't do that. Like, there is no way that they're going to be like, a landscape redesigner. Wow. It's like, what did you do? It's like, I combed grass my entire life with a fucking hair comb. It just bothers me a lot.
Yeah, it's just... The funniest ones, though, are when people post of how they're getting, like, hit on LinkedIn. And it's, like, the funniest thing
Those
in the
are
world.
fucking weird, dude. Those are, like...
That's my favorite kind of content.
It's so strange.
It's great.
It says exactly how horny men are 100%
There
of the time.
was one that kind of went... For some reason, if a post goes viral on LinkedIn, it, like, shows up on everyone's fucking feeds, even if you have no connection to it. And it was this one girl who posted a screenshot of a message she got saying, like, hey... Your smile caught my attention, and I'd love to connect with you beyond a professional sense, or like some weird, creepy message
so
like that.
So
And she was like, "Guys, don't do this." And like that's literally the whole post. And then there's a huge heated argument in the comments because this thing blew up, and a bunch of boomers were like, "He was being perfectly polite. I don't understand why you feel the need to put him on blast like this, basically." And it's like, "Shut up! Stop being creepy."
Do you think that they actually believe what they're saying, or
They just like to argue.
The old dudes, absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely, yeah.
I mean, like, because they can see it's two steps. It's like, this is an environment literally just about employment and work, and this person hit on me equals this is not appropriate. They can't do that. They can't say that. I mean, like, even if he was being nice in air quotes, it doesn't matter. Like, this is not the place for that. I shouldn't have to think about, doing the dating game while I'm using an app that is specifically targeted towards getting me a job. They can't do that? That's not something that they even equate?
I think it's just like a values thing that older dudes are used to thinking that like hitting on women at any point in any situation is perfectly acceptable, and that like women should be like blessed that we're even like giving them any sort of attention. So this whole new idea of men are actually really creepy and weird most of the time is foreign to them, like, yeah. So the whole thing was really fucking weird. That's like one of the big like generational gaps, I think, from like old people to like young people-ish today.
Do you ever see the people who do the equating thing? And I used that word before, but I mean it differently this time. Some woman will say like something about an interaction she had with a man who was like coming on to her, and how it was disturbing and fucked her up, and like fuck that, like she disliked that.
Yeah.
Then someone will reply and be like, I don't know about you, but I'd love it if a woman came up and did that with me. It's just like, yeah, those are equivalent. What are you fucking talking about, you horny weirdo?
It's totally different because like women, and like obviously we're just a bunch of fucking like dudes who have never experienced this in our life, but like I've seen it happen to like my friends a lot. Like women have to like put up with so much shit constantly.
I used to be a complete like asshole about it. Like when I was much younger, the people who would be like, "Oh, men are trash," and I'd be like, "No, they're not. What are you talking about?"
Yes. Abroad, my roommate, who's a good friend of mine. This is just a quick aside.
That's sexist.
Our friend group is pretty much just girls and then us two dudes, and they would always be like, men are trash, and I was like, yeah, I agree, like men are in general like pretty creepy and like annoying, and then he would always get like offended saying like, no, not all men are trash, and I was like, that's not like what they like mean, but like honestly for the majority, like a lot, yeah, we are pretty shitty to be honest.
There's also the sect of dudes who when they see that stuff they'll be like, well, I'm not bad. It's like, good for you, we're not talking about you.
Yeah, it's
like the Gillette commercial, and they worded it so well in that commercial where they were just saying, they were like, we can do better.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and then everyone was like, no, all men are bad, and they were like, not all, they didn't say that.
That's not what anybody has said.
The standards should be higher, is what they were saying.
Mm-hmm.
It's like if like a person of color, like a minority, like complains about white people, then like the white people come out of the fucking like,
but I'm not racist,
the cornfields, and they're like, I ain't racist, I ain't like that. Why you gotta say that about all white people?
It's the people that say that are the problem, because they are like the people who do bad shit. So in saying this, like, but I'm not racist, it's like, you kind of are. Like, I can tell immediately.
You can tell because they're like the most insecure.
Yep.
And like they're the ones
most like self
making this an issue,
hatred sort of thing.
Yep, exactly. Okay, that's enough for the pod. I gotta go see what this DM is about. Thank you again for listening, guys. Before we go, I want to shout out our lovely Patreon patrons. We got Brianna, Cassidy, Chelsea, David, Aaron, Erviso Joe, Jesse, Kane, Maldo, Marianne, Monty, Rebecca, Tara, Vanessa, and Jessica. You're all incredible people. If you want to be a Patreon patron yourself, you can go to patreon.com/PrudeDudes. Throw us your spare change, your rustiest coins you got, your doubloons, your Bitcoin, if that still has any value. You can send that all over there.
Thanks!
If you want to
wait!
Stop yelling in my ear.
I just remembered that I watched a old like VCR magic TV show where the guy would like do magic tricks and stuff, but it wasn't like he wasn't the impressive part. It was mostly like they did a lot of setup, like made a bulldozer like scoop out a bunch of stuff and then buried someone, but he wasn't buried. He was just underneath of the coffin with an air tank. It was just like, that wasn't really your magic so much as like we didn't see what you did while you cut to a different shot. And there's a narrator who like during it is the creepiest person ever. And he'll go like, and then we have our beautiful assistants, and they are beautiful. It was just like, that was so gross. I don't know why I just thought of that.
No, yeah, old school. That ties into like the weird boomer thing where they can just like objectify women casually all the time.
Also,
like,
what's his name? James Angel? No, that's fucking
Chris Angel.
James Williams' wrestling
name.
Chris Angel.
Chris Angel. That dude's a fucking weirdo.
Yeah.
And apparently, like this isn't, I guess, a weird part of it, but it was kind of interesting to find out his son or something was some manner of sick, and he found out about that and then changed his show and had a bunch of like wheelchair kids and like people with disabilities come out during like the precipice of the show, like the end of it, and he was just talking about how important it was to help kids, and it was just apparently really strange for the crowd because they didn't expect it because it was so different than what he was just doing, like pretending to fly or whatever. It was just like
he was just like sliding a sword through like his entire body without dying, and then immediately
also
afterwards,
kids
like,
have cancer.
Also, like we gotta help these kids, y'all. But that's good. I'm not gonna hate on him for that. That's
like, I mean, yeah, but it's like in the middle of like Chuck E. Cheese's performance, if he started talking about 9/11.
Yeah, he vomits like 30 scorpions, and then immediately after he looks up and he says, "We have to help disabled children all around the world."
It's like Freddy Fazbear. You remember how people would like sexualize those characters?
Which characters?
The people from Five Nights at Freddy's.
Oh, gross! People did that.
They did.
I shouldn't be surprised.
Most
That's
of the time
weird.
when I would look up because I wanted some fresh new vor content that I could send to people.
No.
A lot of it was Freddy Fazbear and like the bunny and the chicken. It was like so fucking weird. They love those characters, like to the point where they want to fuck them. It's so weird to me.
The world is a weird place.
Yes,
I'm
it
gonna
is.
leave it at that. If you want to send us an
just
email,
jump from kids with cancer to people want to fuck Freddy Fazbear.
I'm gonna tell you to shut up. Shut up.
What's the name of this podcast?
Prude
Bitch.
podcast.
It's number 86.
Yeah,
If you want to send us an email, if you would shut up for like 1 second just so I can end
No!
this
He wants to
podcast.
stab you. He wants to kill you.
Send an email of anything you want to prudedudes@gmail.com. If you want to follow us on social media, that's at prudedudes on Instagram and Twitter. You can find us on our personal accounts at AlexPen987. Patrick is at PatrickCharlton5, and Yaman is at Papa Yams, 2 S's. Go follow us. Anyways, thank you again for listening, guys. Like the show on iTunes. Rate the show on Spotify. I don't think it works like that. Whatever. Hit those buttons that help the show. See you again next
Find out
week.
a way to rate it.
Shut the fuck up.
Email Spotify. Tell them you want to add a rating feature for podcasts so that you can rate the Prude Dudes podcast.
That's true, actually. I don't know why they don't have a rating
Lobby
feature.
against Congress.
Oh, yeah.
That's true. Put your body on the floor of your senator's office.
What the gerrymandering? Isn't that like
Gerrymandering.
Paying?
Pretty sure it's
Gerrymandering?
not
Is it gerrymandering? Oh, it is gerrymandering. Right.
No,
Did you say Gary?
No,
Yeah,
no.
I said Gary.
Gary.
Jerry. Yeah, no, it's when the dude named Jerry.
It's the rare
Doesn't.
instance where the congressman is named Gary.
Exactly.
And you gerrymander him.
Yes.
There was a.
It's because you said jury.
There was a Steven
that's why it sounded
Suptic.
wrong.
There was a Steven Suptic clip that I saw that was in a Funhouse compilation, And out of nowhere, he was just like, it was like, I'm gonna gerrymander you so hard when I get home. And he didn't mention that at all before. It was out of nowhere. It was so fucking funny.
Okay. Bye. See you again next week. Ciao.